Yes, we are live, guys. What's up? I am James Hake. This is the Hake Report. It is Wednesday, August 5th, 2020, and I will be getting to your calls, 888-775-3773. It has been quite an interesting day, wouldn't you say? Yes. And I have quite a show for you. I'm wearing a beautiful tribute to Christopher Columbus, which I'll tell you about. And I have a interesting throwback story just to remind you guys of what we're dealing with, right? And so let's go get on with the show. Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how is it going, everybody? You guys can call in 888-775-3773. Shout out to Jesse Lee Peterson and Honda Bear and Dark Side of the Bear What for hosting the Hake Report. I almost said Jesse Lee Peterson. Sounds good, baby Hitler. Yeah, let me know if the audio is great. Press 1, and the volume on the everything is good. Or press 2 if it's bad. Press 3 if it's hit or miss. But everything should be good right now. Thank you to Jimmy DM re-subbing for 6 months. He's already on a 5-month sub streak. A faithful supporter of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, of Bond, and of Hake, the Hake Report. Thanks, dude. 4-month sub streak. 5-month sub streak. That's cool. Appreciate that, man. Thank you for the feedback, guys. So, I'm wearing a t-shirt, and it is Men's History Month, right? We just finished with White History Month, and then I will be getting to your calls, guys. Appreciate that. But we just finished White History Month, and now I can honor men who are, and what is it called? Appeal to men to be men, right? Who are all races, right? Actually, White History Month is a call for all races to be moral, in all honesty, because it's immoral to hate whites, and it's immoral for whites to be afraid and not great. Right? Yes, that's right. My t-shirt says, it is a red t-shirt. It's like it's a cool red. It's not a cool red, it's a bright red t-shirt. Sort of vintagey finish to it, akin to the color of another t-shirt that I wear from, I think, the Hake Report website or Jesse Lee Peterson website. But this t-shirt says, established, up here in small letters, it says, established 1492, with a couple of swords crossing. And it says, Christopher Columbus. What an honorable man. And then it says, was a hero. Christopher Columbus was indeed a hero. They are for years now, you may not have been aware of this, but I definitely have. Ever since Black Lives Matter came on the scene, honestly, maybe before, actually, to be honest, they have been throwing red paint on him, and I'm saying years. I'm not just saying since George Floyd. It's been going on for years. We've covered it. Jesse Lee Peterson talked about it, even in church, talking about how one of the dumbest things have been the takedowns of these statues. They did it after Dylan Roof shot up the church, the black church, over in North Carolina or South Carolina. I always forget which one. Wherever Nikki Haley was governor. What a disgrace to have a female rhino like Nikki Haley be governor of your state. Like I said, what a disgrace. Shame on the voters who voted for her to be so weak as to take down the Confederate flag in pandering to the miserable, angry, never happy never satisfied blacks and liberals who are just pushing nonsense, because it is nonsense that the South or the beautiful Confederate flag or anything to do with that is to blame for Dylan Roof or anybody else hating blacks. Dylan Roof hated blacks because he had a bad family life, which is the same issue that blacks who hate whites, and they hate each other too, had bad family lives and a crazy indoctrination against whites that radicalized Dylan Roof just like it radicalizes the blacks who hate whites, right? And they also hate America, its founding. They hate the fact that the New World, you know, we're in the Western Hemisphere, right? Was discovered. They hate that. North America and South America and the islands in the Gulf and the islands of the Pacific. They hate that we colonized, we being the Westerners, right? Not we as in me, but the ancestors. They hate the fact that they have so much opportunity and that they squander it with misery and hatred and throwing their lives away into all kinds of degenerate, immoral lifestyles. They're just hateful people. And, you know, Black Lives Matter is such a funny term because it started by people who throw their lives away and encourage other blacks to throw their lives away in anger and in immorality. And so they smear men who got on a boat in 1492 and Columbus sailed the ocean blue and discovered the New World. And he didn't even land in America, the United States, that is, what would become the United States. I think he landed in one of the islands or somewhere, right? But he kind of got it started. The people started colonies in the 1600s. People ran away from England because they did not have freedom of religion, freedom to be real Christians, right? Because the King of England and stuff, they were imposing this false version of Christianity, much like is imposed today, and they have a false religion called hate speech. Well, that's why I have this shirt. I love it. I actually got it from The Red Elephants, theredelephants.com, which I think is a reference to the Republican, the Republican Party. If you're in a red state, it doesn't have to do with communism. It has to do with the Republican Party. Because we're red-blooded conservatives, right? That's the website of Vincent James, who has Jesse Lee Peterson listed in multiple blog posts about conservative YouTube channels and elsewhere, who have been censored by YouTube and other far-left platforms, so-called mainstream platforms. They call themselves mainstream because they're, I don't know, they have that, they're huge. Partly built by us, right? His most recent post was just June of 2020. Has Jesse Lee Peterson listed and many other great conservative channels. He urged people to subscribe to Jesse Lee Peterson and others last year, June 2019. He noted when Jesse Lee Peterson was demonetized back in, I think it would have been 2019. After these sleazy people, sleazy so-called journalists, I covered how a huge portion of the United States, according to a survey by, I think, Gallup and the Knight Foundation, or Knight, whatever, Knight something with a K, how they think it's sobering that so many Americans rightly see, I say, that the mainstream media, the news media, is an enemy of America. They're purposely trying to destroy America. They're sleazy people. And that media includes people who seek to take down patriots, people who love the country, people who actually love the country and actually believe in morality. They want America to be better. These Americans like Jesse Lee Peterson and Vincent James and others who have been silenced by these sleazy people, including me too. They have the actual love for America, whereas these far lefties, not too dissimilar from James Baldwin, this sleazy guy who was pushing victimhood on blacks, no actual love for blacks, just pretending to identify with all blacks, especially the victims, right? So, Vincent James has appeared on Jesse Lee Peterson's radio show multiple times. He appeared on The Fallen State debating Destiny, who is a far-left guy who's on Twitch about gun control. Destiny has this sort of motherly spirit. I want to reduce harm to people. Such female thinking in terms of, oh, let mama government impose policies that reduce harm, rather than let men be men and men fix society. And so, speaking of so-called journalists, I have some screenshots. I call them sleazy. I call them all sleazy. But he documented this sleazy, lying email. I think it was first covered by this leftist journalist, but he's more of an independent journalist, so he's a little bit more honest in some ways. Jack Posobiec tweeted out this thing. Jack Posobiec is a pretty honest guy, I think. He's on One American News Network. He knows Jesse. He put, breaking, left-wing media activist email leak shows how they deplatform political rivals. And it's worse than that. They deplatform true Americans, honestly. People who love Western civilization and morality and family and manhood, men being men. So there's this email by this person, sleazy email, and it's by a female named April Glasser of Slate.com, which is a far-left disgusting outlet. And she emailed Chase Bank about some conservatives, some prominent conservatives, fairly prominent. The guy that you hear listed in this email, or who's affected by this email that she sent, April Glasser, a so-called journalist, you may not have heard of, but you may have heard the organization that he is part of. April Glasser of Slate.com. She's a so-called journalist. She sent an email subject header. This was from January 2019. Just a reminder of the evil that we're facing. And she does it in a female way, meaning a evil, snaky way. The email subject line, Slate inquiry, providing service for the Proud Boys. You've heard of the Proud Boys, right? They are, they want men to start being men and not just being all into pornography and start loving the family, traditional family, wives being actual wives, husbands being husbands and men, and protecting Western civilization, which was built by Christians, Christianity, and being civilized, people being civilized, not being rioting and terrorists as Black Lives Matter and Antifa are, and the Democrat Party. So she's all, hi there, I'm April, a journalist at Slate, writing to ask if J.P. Morgan Chase, which is a bank, right, is aware that the Proud Boys affiliated online store 1776.shop, which is an online store affiliated with Proud Boys, uses Chase Payment Tech as its payment processor. 1776.shop, and 1776, I might remind you, is a reference to the founding year of the United States of America. 1776.shop is what's redirected from fundthewest.org, which Proud Boys founder Gavin McInnes cited, and Gavin McInnes is the man who founded Proud Boys. He is Canadian, but he loves America. He loves Western civilization, He founded Proud Boys because he didn't like these young men becoming older and older and still into pornography and just wasting their lives away. He wants the West to remain great. Gavin McInnes cited fundthewest.org as the legal defense fund of the Proud Boys. So this shopping website, they sell stuff on this shopping website, or used to, and it helps the legal defense fund of the Proud Boys, and the Proud Boys have been lied against, smeared, sued in some cases, maybe, I don't know, but definitely prosecuted in court by kangaroo courts, by liberals within local governments. That means attorneys general. That means, mayors and city councils and all so-called government official organizations who have a bone to pick with real Americans because they protect Black Lives Matter and Antifa that support them and support what they're about, which is the destruction of the country, whereas Proud Boys are for protecting free speech, protecting civilization, and protecting morality. The Proud Boys are designated by the Southern Poverty Law Center, this woman goes on, April Glasser, back in January 2019, as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is a discredited communist organization that was even recently removed, in the last few years, removed from the website of the FBI, which is another liberal organization. The FBI is a part of the executive branch of the United States, but they are not pro-Trump. They're not pro-America. They're pro-sleaze. They're infiltrated by a bunch of liberals that you can't fire necessarily. So the SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, that even listed Jesse Lee Peterson as a hater. Anti-Christian, anti-white, anti-American. Like I said, communist roots, and communist in their tactics, and communist really in their personnel. They listed Proud Boys as a hate group. And this woman, April Glasser, says, and members of the Proud Boys have engaged in group violence in Portland, referring to Oregon, and New York City, which is a lie. They have not engaged in quote-unquote group violence except to defend themselves and others against Antifa, which is the violent hate group that she supports, by the way. Which is implied that she supports it, right? And she says the group, this is and more of an appeal to authority, the group has been suspended by Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, which are other far-left, non-authority outlets, right? They're non-authority, formerly known as platforms. Now they're what are they called? What is it called instead of a platform? Publishers. They let you post, but if they don't like what you're saying, it's just a matter of not liking what you're saying. It doesn't have to do that anything you're saying is untrue. If it's something you said is true, they will shut it down. If they hate what you're saying, they'll call you hateful, and they'll shut it down. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Far left run outlets. SPLC, far left. Southern Poverty Law Center. So she has this false appeal to authority. There's Gavin McInnes. He's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show and the Fallen State. Kind of a hit and miss guy at times, right? You guys, some of you guys have your criticisms, but he wants to what he's done with Proud Boys and all that. He wants to support what's right, and you should support him in that sense. Is the use, and she goes on, this woman goes on, April Glasser of Slate.com, against Chase, right? Trying to corner Chase. Appeal to SPLC as so they're a valid source of what hate is, right? And Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, which are, huge platforms that cave to the anti-American mob. She said, is the usage of Chase payment tech in support of such groups against Chase's policy? And she's all, I'm on a deadline. Many thanks, April. Such a female, huh? And that led to Chase Bank sending a notification to this man named Henry Tario, who was partly in charge of running that 1776 store, I think. She said, not she, I'm referring to Chase now. Chase sent this letter to this man named Henry Tario. After careful consideration, dear Henry Tario, we have determined that we can no longer support your banking accounts and will be closing it on April 1st, 2019. And no, it was not an April Fool's joke. Please accept our apologies for the inconvenience. They got this from Big League Politics. We want you to have enough time to prepare for this change, so we are providing some information that can help your plan. Here's what to do by April 1st, 2019. Cancel all automated deposits or withdrawals on your accounts. Stop making all other transactions on your accounts. Withdraw your money or move your balance to a non-Chase account by writing a check or sending a wire transfer from Chase.com. We will waive the wire transfer fee. Oh, so nice, huh? Redeem any eligible Ultimate Rewards points linked to your debit card at Chase, blah, 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 blah. Close your accounts by visiting a branch. Yeah, after an email by a girl named April. And I use the term girl loosely. If you're unable to take the actions listed above by April 1st, 2019, we will close your accounts and refuse all transactions we receive after 11 p.m. Eastern Time, send you a check for any remaining balances within 10 business days, along with the final closure notification, allow you to redeem eligible Ultimate Rewards. Wow, so generous, huh? They're discriminating against him based on leftist activism, not based on reality, based on a false appeal to false authority, because, you know, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and the SPLC have no authority on what is hateful or anything whatsoever. It's just cowardice. They're not for what's right, and there is a female-minded liberal attack against what's right, against true speech. Honestly, it's not just about free speech; it's about true speech that's what they're attacking. Because whatever you think of Gavin McInnes and edgy stuff that he's said or done in the past, or maybe worse than edgy, who knows, right? The stuff that he's standing for, the reason that he's attacked, is for the truth. Same thing with Trump. You can say, oh, in his past, he's been married 3 times and stuff like that. Please. The reason that he's hated is because he tells the truth about immigration, about the Democrats, about the mainstream media, that they are truly the enemy of the people. Who else says that? I don't think I've heard anybody say that the fake news media is the enemy of America. He's the only person who said that. And you guys, I mean, we all know that they are. We all know that they are. We've said things along those lines, but he just came out and outright says that. And he's right. And so April Glasser, we have some tweets from her defending her actions. April Glasser, a blue check mark, verified liberal on Twitter, and a Slate.com so-called journalist who got the Proud Boys ban from even not just social media, but from being supported by a bank, meaning served by a bank. April Glasser tweeted, freedom of speech isn't the same as freedom to broadcast and amplify that speech. Yes, it is, because you have the right to conduct business and contract. But when you have immoral, weak people running Chase, who cave and cater and pander to America haters like April Glasser, and America haters like the people who ban conservatives and Americans on Twitter and Facebook and I want to say Periscope, but on Instagram. And they pander to that's her. Oh, yeah. See? looks like a harmless, pretty girl with a pouty, nasty look. Evil. Attack on men. She said, it's not the same as the freedom to broadcast and amplify that speech. Not pretty or harmless, James. I'm just talking about appearances, right? Not that pretty. But, you know, they hide behind this fake version of niceness. This fake version of kindness is everything. That's what the people who support Black Lives Matter say, right? I'm talking about liberal females who put these signs in their yard that say, in this house, Black Lives Matter. Women's rights are human rights. Science is real. And all that other junk that they say. People are talking about her lips. It might be chapped. Anyways, she says, I wrote about how public interest obligations over U.S. broadcasters work and why it's such a useful frame when thinking about social media regulation. Which is a whole lot of gobbledygook to justify being an evil female. She said, this is not about regulating content. It is about the possibility of potentially reporting efforts to combat misinformation. She's the one who's spreading misinformation by falsely giving credence to anything that that the SPLC does and says, by giving false credence to social media platforms that engage in censorship against true Americans and America supporters, Instagram, Twitter, all that. She said, regulating efforts to combat misinformation, data privacy, and yes, not allowing hate speech, which is a fake word, to be broadcast to large audiences. She's the one broadcasting hate to large audiences through Slate. And about acknowledging the reality of concentrated media power and protecting the role of information infrastructure in a democratic society. What a sleazy person. It's not a democratic society. It is a republic. And it's a republic that believes in free speech and truth. They don't believe in this false idea of hate speech. And concentrated media power. Proud Boys doesn't have media power. Walker says that girl ain't pretty. Yeah, fair enough. I'm white. I don't know if she is. Anyways, concentrated media power. That's what she's about. Everything that she supports is also supported by the concentrated media power of Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube or whatever. And Twitter. And everything that she supports is supported by the SPLC, which is it's a hate-filled organization. So you guys heard Jesse Lee Peterson talking about that caller Tony who lied and claimed Jesse Lee Peterson was paid by Sean Hannity. He's never been paid by Sean Hannity. Just making up stuff. And you'll notice that evil people make up stuff. That, you know, they think of it, they think it's true, oh, they just say it. Sleazy, evil, nasty, filthy people. And that's her. She was okay. Hey, thank you, Brandon Johnson. You're with me. Right on. The ugliness within, I'm sure will catch up, right? It'll catch up. So, let me read a few super chats. Evgeny Crosby says, Hake, Missouri is on its way to being finished. Bye-bye. Missouri, yeah. Missouri, is that Missouri? I think that's true. I get mixed up between Minnesota and Missouri, honestly. Who's from where, right? But yeah, it is. Kevin Webb says, the Hake Report is amazing. Thank you. Corey Bush. Oh, that woman. Yeah. Nasty. Evil being replaced with worse evil. You know who's replacing John Lewis is, I think it's a black female. I could be wrong. I forget. Who's even more far left, and I don't know if you could get more far left and radical than him, but he was not really an effective, remarkable person, honestly. Yeah, he was pandered to and kissed up to by the mainstream media and the rhinos and the Democrats. This John Lewis guy who died, a representative for decades. Christopher Columbus was a hero. What the bleep? Wacko effing Nazi, says real Joan Crawford one. He murdered lots of people, you POS. This is that Howard Zinn communist propaganda talking. Christopher Columbus didn't murder anybody. So ridiculous. But that's considered common, that type of language and that type of speech from this person, I guess it's a she named Joan. Talking not very ladylike in her Periscope chat. Talking about, Christopher Columbus murdered people. No, he explored. He discovered the Americas. He discovered the New World. Very sick. Very sick, these people. Not to be confused with... Oh, yeah. Anyways. Not to be confused with Candace Owens. Missouri is the Show Me state. Abbreviation is MO. Good say to remember, Hake. I know that, but I just don't remember. Whatever. Yeah, he's partly responsible for the country and the technology that you enjoy, Ms. Joan Crawford. Sick, brainwashed people just believe in whatever they are told by the most evil people imaginable. The people who support actual murder, killing the babies in the womb. How can you get worse than that? Anyways, Jesse Lee Peterson was on Alex Jones yesterday. Banned.video. August 4th, 2020. Jesse Lee Peterson. Civil rights movement sold blacks over to the Democrats. It's a 42-minute interview on the Alex Jones show that aired live on Infowars.com. Nice, huh? Beautiful. Also, we should have on Bond Rebuilding the Man YouTube channel a premiere of the Sunday service at 4 p.m. Pacific time today. Let me get to some calls. I also got to check Streamlabs while I'm at it. But let me get to some calls. Russell has been on hold from Buffalo, New York. First-time caller for quite some time. Appreciate you holding, Russell. How are you doing, Russell? What's up?
Oh, man. Well, first let me say thank you for giving me the opportunity to dialogue with Reverend Peterson. And,
don't thank me. Thank Jesse and Nick. But on their behalf, you're welcome. Right. Have you talked to Jesse Lee Peterson?
No, but I've heard him quite often since I started listening to stuff on YouTube. And, he has very interesting concepts.
Yeah. The truth, right? So, isn't it thrilling to hear the truth?
Well, I always like to start out and say, let's agree to disagree, because we always want to hash out what people are thinking and how they draw their conclusions. And I agree with Jessica Lee on the number one premise is that from a Christian perspective, his premise, his focus, his objective on constructs should always come from the Bible. And he should use that as his foundational piece as he deals with his family, as he deals with his community, as he deals with his nation, as he deals with the world.
I don't know. I don't know how you can have any disagreement with Jesse if you believe what the Bible says.
Right. So let's go right to the Bible. Let's look at
no.
a particular principle.
What did you want to call me about?
Well, the key thing is I'm listening to Jesse Lee say he's a reverend, and I don't dispute that.
Why don't you call Jesse Lee about that, Russell?
Excuse me?
Why don't you call Jesse Lee about that? You're calling the Hake Report.
Oh, okay. The guy put me on hold. Yeah, he said he was going to connect me with Jesse Lee.
No, he told you that this is the Hake Report.
Right.
And you said that you knew that this was the Hake Report, not the Jesse Lee Peterson show. So don't act like you're confused. Are you a boomer?
Yeah, it was clear that misunderstanding.
Are you a boomer?
Excuse me?
Are you a boomer?
A boomer. Now let's backtrack.
Are you a boomer?
The definition. What is a boomer?
Are you a boomer?
I just asked you a question.
How old are you?
Could you answer my question?
How old are you?
We're not going to go back and forth.
How old are you, Russell?
You said, what is a boomer?
How old are you? I need to know, how old are you?
I will answer that when you tell me what a boomer is.
No, don't be stubborn, Russell. How old are you?
What a boomer is. What is a boomer?
If he's old, then I'll cut him some slack. But if he's not old, then
Look,
I don't know if I can cut him some slack. It seems like he's sincerely confused, but he's beating around the bush. He doesn't want to answer direct questions. Don't you notice that, guys?
Here we go. Here we go, sir. Here we go. Let's
don't call me sir like you respect me. You don't respect me?
Why are you getting upset? Calm down.
No,
man.
I'm gonna get out of here. Gross. Ugh, nasty. You're such an evil, sick person. I mean, I understand if he's confused, right? But at least be like, answer the question. Like, eventually you have to answer the question. If he's been listening to Jesse Lee Peterson for some time, he sounds 48, says Brandon Johnson. That's like almost Gen X. But he talks like a boomer. But not the good kind of boomer. And I love boomers, right? If I love anybody, I love boomers. And I might not love anybody. Anyways, guys, I had to cut it out. Yeah, you did sound kind of feminine. You can call me back another day, man, but ugh, I just got the creeps. Who said Hank getting emotional? Oh, that says Farsights. That's one of the most emotional guys in chat. But anyways, yeah, it did give me the creeps. I had to hang up. Passive-aggressive boomer? Yeah. Anyways, let me quickly get to Frank in Georgia. I would have loved to converse with him. If he's still listening, he can call in. Not today, though, tomorrow. You can only call in once a day, guys. But don't talk to me about Jesse and then pretend like you want to challenge his being a pastor. Especially if your question is about what's the Christian, his question in the chat, in the question field, right? I have Frank in Georgia and others on hold, right? And Frank's question is, do black Republicans say they are black, right? And so I know generally what Frank is going to ask me. And this guy who is on hold, who's talking about Jesse Lee Peterson, his question was, what's the Christian response to the Chinese virus or the COVID virus, right? And he never even brought that up. He can call Jesse Lee Peterson, for sure. He can call my show tomorrow. I don't care. But be direct, right? I don't think that's true, John Gordon Meade. He's saying something mean that I consider to be mean. Yeah, man. If you give me the creeps, you know, there's been times when I've gotten that sense that they were going to say something evil, and I didn't hang up on them right away. And then I have to apologize to the kids for them saying something nasty. Frank in Georgia, thank you for holding, man. What's up? How you doing?
What's up, Bubba? How you feeling?
I'm feeling fine. Thank you.
Good deal. Yeah, Russell came off a little snaky, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
I want to give you a quick little hindsight on where I'm coming from, that man.
Stay close to the phone, man, so that you and speak up loud and clear.
All right, I want to give you a quick little story on the reason I was asking the question.
About you say
about,
your question is what? Why do Black Americans say they are black?
No. It's not so much that. Is I believe we need to be cautious of who we put on a pedestal. Because if you notice, is any like person of color or stuff or black or whatever you want to say, is the moment that they call themselves a conservative, is they are just put up on a pedestal and praised, and they're this and they're and
Isn't that pathetic?
Although. Okay, so we're on the same. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so we're on the same
Do you think
page.
that we should be putting anybody on a pedestal? What do you mean by
No.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. What do you mean by pedestal?
Meaning that, this is a black conservative, and I should be praised almost as if we should be praising them for somewhat thinking with a clear head.
Right.
You
okay.
know what I'm saying? It's kind of like,
I gotcha.
But they still refer to themselves as an African American Republican or a Hispanic Republican. Why are we still putting the hyphenated name on there? And the reason I say this is because, real quick, is I so-called the white flight as I moved years ago out to a smaller town in Georgia from the city. And
why did you mentioned white flight? Why did you do that?
For the children.
To grow up in a safer.
Yes.
Okay.
My children was minorities, but either way,
your children.
Small town that I live in.
Oh, your children were white minorities. Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. All right. So, the small town that I do live in, we just had recently an election, and stuff for commissioner and things of that nature. Now, the guy who won the mayor's seat, I almost said the city. Either way, is I know this guy very well, and he went to your liberal university to things of that nature. He ran on a Republican ticket.
Yeah.
But I know his ideology. He is a diehard liberal.
Yeah.
That being said, is the boomers and others that live in the town that I'm in, you know better. He's a young guy. I'd say, I don't like saying this, but he was a good-looking guy, I guess kind of handsome dude, so which is easy on the eyes for people, and which he's at all the football events, things of that nature. So people voted for it.
Right.
But his true, stuff, I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's just because someone is a conservative or a Republican or a black Republican, you got to notice they still consider themselves an African-American, I guess Republican or conservative. So what happens when we elect a president or someone in Congress and things of that nature to where do we really know what their true ideology, stuff is? Because I feel that we're using this Republican and conservative type of label to get somewhere now, especially with the POC.
Yeah.
So if you follow what I'm saying,
I do.
It's like right now you can make a lot of money by being a POC and conservative and Republican. Is we eat it up. We eat it up.
I mean, if you
don't know their true ideology.
That's if you present yourself well and you stay politically correct and stuff like that. If you actually tell the actual truth, you won't make as much money. But what do you mean? Why are you groaning? You hear Jesse? You familiar with Jesse Lee Peterson?
Oh yeah. No, so that's how.
And he tells the actual truth, right? He doesn't stay politically correct, which means safe, not telling the truth about the gays or the women or anything else. He tells the actual truth.
Who else is doing that?
Huh?
Who else is doing that?
I don't know.
All right, that's my point. So now.
But that's my point. That's my point. Telling the actual truth doesn't necessarily make you a lot of money.
Maybe I missed your point in the beginning.
Yeah, I said if you tell the actual truth, you don't stand to make as much money. If you hide behind political correctness and pretend to be a rhino when you're really a Democrat, which is really the same thing, then you can make more money because look at what these so-called conservative organizations are hiring. Just basically liberals who reject a couple of items from the Democrats, so therefore they're called conservatives, but they're not actual conservatives.
Well, yeah, no, so I follow exactly what you're saying, but
yeah.
it's just white people and stuff within a whole we do not even like fathom that concept of.
To be honest, man,
yourself, James, you consider yourself first an American. You would never, ever in your wildest dreams consider yourself white first and then American second.
I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, I don't think in terms of, I wasn't brought up thinking about race.
No,
and,
we weren't. No.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, race is real, but at the same time is, like a majority of white people, is they consider themselves, especially here in the States, of course, would consider themselves an American.
Right.
If they don't look at themselves as a white American or a European American.
You're making a point that Jesse Lee Peterson makes a lot, which is that most of these people who call themselves black conservatives, they still hate whites. And that's true. I mean, you look at these guys who, like Jeff Charles, whom I had on the show. He's a nice guy. But still he believes that racism is real, and he doesn't seem to see that. Well, he acknowledges that the mainstream media hates whites, right? So he's right about that, but he's still like, he kind of is a Jesse hater. Help! Somebody get in here. Where's Bill?
I mean, so that's what we got to be careful for, man. That's all I'm getting to. Just a little thing to marinate on. Kind of sleep.
To be honest, man, on this show, you're preaching to the choir. I don't know if there's anybody who's... Maybe there's like a boomer out there who's... Yeah, I don't know what was going on. Did you hear it? Yeah, you heard it cutting out. I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah, no, I'm a little bit of everywhere, James. Like I said, it's stuff that you can go to the Jew-hating shows, and then you can go to the little bit of the so-called medium shows. And I put yours right there at the, true conservatism show. That's where I put you at.
Appreciate it.
You can kind of get a little bit more deeper down in there, man. But one last question, I'll let you go, is what's your thought on what animals we should kill and eat? I'm gone, man. I'm gone.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later.
Appreciate that, right, Frank. I don't know if that was a serious question, but any ones that you want. Do not declare unclean what God has called clean. Because God told like Peter or somebody or Paul to kill and eat even the unclean animals. Although I hear that some are better for your health than others. Who knows? Whatever. Do you know any idea what happened there? No. That was weird. Bill did something and messed it up. It didn't drop, though. Just the audio cut in and out. Psst, psst, psst. Crazy. Appreciate you guys hanging in there. 10 minutes to go till the end of this first hour. I am 2 hours every day, Monday through Friday. Joe Maddock gave a Ninjagini and said, are we in the midst of a revolution being fought off the battlefield and losing? It's kind of almost an individual thing, because yes, it seems like people are losing, but think about it don't think about it in so much the worldly sense. Think about it's not. Well, I mean, there's a Bible verse that one of you guys referenced in a super chat on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, that and it leads into this, right? The battle is not against flesh and blood. It's not, as Jesse Lee Peterson always says, it's not personal. So you may be turn on the AC. It's getting warm in here. Thank you guys. It's not personal. It is, it's very tempting to look at that. I don't want to cuss. That female-minded liberal who shut down Chase for the Proud Boys, right? Chase Bank for that Proud Boys man. He couldn't even bank at Chase Bank. You guys many of us take for granted the fact that you can just go to the bank. Politics doesn't have anything to do with it. They believe in, you assume, you don't really assume, but you're thinking, freedom of speech, it doesn't affect this part of my life. But yeah, they try to make it affect that too. It's crazy. New Project 2, which was a Patreon alternative, shut down by MasterCard because somehow this guy, Dick Masterson, who started New Project 2, got put on a thing called a match list. And a match list is for like drug and sex traffickers and people that do crazy fraud and I guess support people who do true speech. Like Soph. Soph is a young lady. She's a minor, actually, who's, with her parents' blessing, puts out a great show formerly on YouTube. Had like almost 1 million followers, maybe more. And got totally deplatformed. And so she went on to New Project 2, was getting support there. Jesse Lee Peterson was on New Project 2. Ethan Ralph, the Ralph Retort, was on New Project 2. And boom, MasterCard put them on a match list. And these are just decent American people. Tell the truth, sometimes they're a little edgy or whatever. But they have the right to do it. They have the freedom of speech, but they don't believe in freedom of speech, especially not when it's centered on the truth. So, disgusting people. Mo Betta, stand up, gave a diamond and said, Deutsche Bank laundering operation since 1946. I cannot confirm or deny that, but Mo Betta stand up knows a lot of stuff. Look into it. He may be right. In one sense or another, I bet you he is right. Most of these banks are not for what's right. They don't believe in God. Is Deutsche Bank based in Germany? Right? Because Deutsch is another word for German. It's German for German. Yeah, so who knows? And that's a reference to, I think that's around the end of World War II. Lots of evil things. Lots of evil people came up with evil false solutions to bring about so-called world peace. You know, Jesus talks about how people say peace, peace, when there is no peace. That's why to Jomatic with the Ninja Genie asking if we're in the midst of a revolution being fought off of the battlefield and are we losing? It is a revolution being fought off the battlefield, and America has been losing, I would say, you know, by all appearances, even when you look at things on a moral level. Yeah, America has been losing for maybe the past 100 years, or maybe even since the Civil War, honestly. Because even during those times, all sides, seemingly, came up with these false solutions, including, I think, even the Republicans. You know, who was the one pushing for this forced busing and so-called integration and forcing businesses not to discriminate? Businesses have a right to discriminate. You can't force people to serve people that they don't want to serve. Well, you can, but it's evil to do so. It's only spreading hatred and suspicion and vengeance and not justice, not actual justice. So, leading from that Bible verse where it says we're not battling against flesh and blood, it talks about taking into captivity every thought into the obedience of Christ. So even that thought about, are we losing? People are turning themselves around, and when they're turning themselves around, or they're not turning themselves around, but they are turning around. Thank God, right? And that is winning. Those people are winning in life. You think Jesse Lee Peterson thinks that we're losing? Or he's losing? He's not losing. He's winning. He has a winning spirit. And a lot of people are turning themselves around from hearing the truth and accepting it. So those people are not losing. Those of us who are losers, we will lose. But the people who are not losers are not going to lose. And the people who are not losers, you will notice that they fight hard for America. And they don't give up no matter what. No matter how often they're shut down. Jesse Lee Peterson has been shut down by many things. Even President Trump, the liberal courts and sleazy. People have endlessly been trying to shut him down. And silly Marcus Jones says, then stop crying about Chase choosing not to do business with Gavin McInnes. Laughing face, laughing face, laughing face, laughing crying face, laughing crying face, laughing crying face. Hypocrites. I don't know who's crying about it, but that is an encouragement that you should not cry about it. You should not feel like a victim, even though it is evil what is being done to. And it's not what happened to Gavin McInnes. Chase didn't do it to Gavin McInnes. They did it to some guy who's running this 1776 shop. What's this guy's name? Let me just give you his name because it is important. Henry Tarrio. Henry, H-E-R-N-Y. And his last name, T-A-R-R-I-O. That's not Gavin McInnes. That's not a guy with a big, well-known name and platform that everybody supports. Yes, the Proud Boys, I'm sure, know about him. And those who are close with him know about him and will support him. But now he has to function without Chase Bank. And same with Dick Masterson, has to function without MasterCard. At least the new Project 2 entity does. Actually, it's just gone. It's just dead. Anyways, it's evil. So does Marcus Jones think that blacks should stop crying about racism? No, he doesn't. He's a sucker for the belief in racism. He thinks that those cops who were involved in the arrest of George Floyd are evil. And he thinks that those men who were involved in the citizens' arrest of Ahmaud Arbery were evil. Without knowing the truth, he just calls them evil. What a sick person, huh? People will make up stuff and believe it and act like they're truth. They're about the truth. I'm going to be talking about a couple of non-men in this coming hour. And actually, I have photos. Did you show the photos in the opening? You might have. Of this beautiful southern plantation. Oh my gosh. Some guy apologized for having had this is some dumb actor, apologized for having a marriage, a wedding on a plantation, a slave plantation. Isn't that beautiful? Dang. Who wouldn't want to get married there? Wow. If you were to get married, right? Ryan Reynolds, who was an actor in this dumb movie called Deadpool. I didn't watch it. I know a guy who tried to watch it and he walked out. And he was not a faint of heart type of person. He said it was just so nasty. Look at that. I'm going to be talking about this place and these people. And I have another, and Ryan Reynolds, I think he's white. I don't know if he's normal white. As in, like, came from Christianity and real America. I don't know. He married some actress named Blake Lively. Look at that guy. But, weak. Kiss up. And I have another non-man. I don't have any pictures of him. You might have to just dig some up. Who apologized to Satan's daughter for the third time, according to him. Terry Crews apologized to Gabrielle Union for what? I don't know. For not supporting her nasty white-hating spirit. But he apologized to her. And there's lots of injustice in the world, you know, that's not just against whites. Jackie Lacey's husband got charged. I mean, she's a liberal, I think. But her husband got charged for trying to be a man. I may touch on that if I can. President Trump had a beautiful interview, as far as what I saw, with this sleazy guy who pretends to care about lives, named Jonathan Swann, on this outlet that's a far-left outlet, partially owned by HBO, or in a deal with HBO called Axios, founded by the same sleazy liberal guy who founded Politico, and they're just nasty. And this guy's like a foreigner type of a guy. I don't have any clips because I don't want to, share Axios' stuff and get any whatever. Ryan Reynolds is Canadian. That explains it all, says Blessed and Praying. Oh, how do you guys like that, Canadians? Is Ryan Reynolds a? I don't want to say the G word. Yeah, the plantation's beautiful. Oh my gosh, makes me want to find a wife.
I'll pick cotton.
Yeah, there's beautiful pictures of students going to visit the cotton field, picking cotton. Maybe Jesse can buy this plantation. I mean, they're doing good work, right? And in fact, if anything, they're kissing up too much to the blacks. There's this section that I'm going to show you of the website that's just going to turn you off. But I don't want to be too hard on them, because the ways of the world is evil, and they don't have to, but they follow in the footsteps of the ways of the world. They employ this black woman does these performances there, presentations. I don't know anything about her, but she doesn't look quite right. But it's such a beautiful location. Why wouldn't you get married there? Anyways, I got to take a quick break, just 2 or 3 minutes or so, and I will be right back. It is past the top of the hour. Cactus Eater Bear says, so many plantations in Hawaii, and nobody has a problem with it. Anyways, guys, I'll be right back. Hang tight. Enjoy this beautiful music from Joel Friday here. So, how's it going, everybody? It is 10:07 a.m. here in Los Angeles, and it is the 5th of August already here in Los Angeles, and 10:07 a.m. Can you believe how cool, those of you who are on this side of town, can you believe how cool it has been? It has been so nice, so, well, very mild, right? Some of you guys like it hot outside, and I don't mind it hot. But it has been very mild. July was mild. It barely got over 80 most days. At one point, it got like 90. But for example, today, low 60, high 73. What the heck? And it's August. I heard it's cloudy outside, but not above really 75, 78. Mostly 73, 75. In the highs, all upcoming. It's crazy, huh? Strange. So much for global warming, huh? So, I want to tell you guys about this non-male. It is Men's History Month, and men are history if we don't turn this around. But I have to tell you about this guy named Ryan Reynolds, who is an actor. He played in this dumb movie, there's been a couple of movies, I guess, called Deadpool. I guess he was one of those fake superhero guys. He's supposed to be funny, but it's really vulgar and disgusting. And, typical Hollywood, right? Well, Ryan Reynolds, I don't know why he did this, but it was trending on Twitter. He and Blake Lively, quote unquote, according to E-Talk CTV, deeply regret their plantation wedding. In a new interview with Fast Company, which is a media outlet, Ryan Reynolds says getting married on an antebellum era plantation. Antebellum being a reference to before the war. Before, bellum, war. Antebellum era plantation is, quote, something we'll always be deeply and unreservedly sorry for. I don't know if he's lying. He has to be lying. That's all you do. If you're a kiss-up, I guess that's all you do is lie, huh? He and Blake Lively got married again at home years after. What a disgrace, huh? He says it's impossible to reconcile after he and Blake Lively got married on one of America's oldest plantations, and he is now calling it a giant effing. He actually said the big F word. F-U blank, 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 blank. I-N-G. Maybe too many blanks. A giant effing mistake. It's a mistake to think that anything this guy stands for is good. And all the media companies covered it. Unreservedly sorry. And Boone Hills, and it's called Boone Hall Plantation and Gardens is the location where they got married. Boone Hall Plantation. Boone, B-O-O-N-E. Has an E at the end. The E is silent, guys. Look at this house. And here's the website. Boone Hall Plantation and Gardens. This is the plantation home, and there's and the grounds, and you can see the nature. Horses, a beautiful entry gate. Inside the home, you can see a beautiful grand piano. You can see shady trees, old trees. There's one 600-year-old tree on these grounds. Huge. I think it's an oak tree. Maybe I just made that part up. But this home that it has pillars in the front, colonial style house. Big gravel way. I've never seen the movie in its entirety, Django Unchained, but it reminds me of that, the house in that thing. And I don't recommend it. That's a Quentin Tarantino white-hating movie. The black guy in that movie, Jamie Foxx, talked about how awesome is that he got to shoot whites, kill whites in that movie. Yeah, it's sick. But Boone Hall, Plantation and Gardens. And there are other And on Google, it has 2,783 Google reviews, which is a large number for your average location. This is an awful picture that Joel Friday here is showing you guys. It's a screenshot that I came across when I scrolled down on the, what portion was that? That was the slave? Hold on. That was the slave quarters, I think. If you go up one screenshot, I don't know if you can find it. But that was the slave quarters. Maybe it's not entirely here. Oh, yeah, it is. Black History in America, slave cabins, right? But you scroll down on this slave cabins section of their gallery, and it's all this kiss-up stuff about African-American heroes, and it has a picture of Barack Obama and Michelle Obama winning the presidency, as though those are heroes. And then it has MLK and look at that. What is that doing on the Boone Hall Plantation and Gardens website? It's a disgrace. Neither of the, well, maybe Michelle is descended a little bit from slaves, but Barack's nothing to do with that. He was not descended from slaves. He was descended from Kenyans. Allegedly. I don't know, maybe some speculate that he may be from Frank Marshall Davis and not really the Barack Obama Sr. Yeah, she used to wear her hair decently, says Joel Friday. And it has Abraham Lincoln and this woman from the NAACP, National Association Against Colored People, sitting on her bus in the front. What's that woman's name again? Rosa Parks, who participated in that publicity stunt to sit in the front of the bus. That's all it was. A publicity stunt. The back of the bus is where the cool kids want to go. But no, she was tired, so she claimed. And then there's this forced integration propaganda between these kids in a class, co-ed class, which is not advisable, but most of us grew up that way. We didn't know, we had no idea that there was such a thing as boys. Well, I mean, some of us knew, but it didn't seem fun. But these little girls in the classroom, a white girl, or I think she's white, I don't know, and then a black girl, sitting together in a classroom in a black and white photograph. Is that Harriet Tubman sitting next to Abraham Lincoln in that drawing? And then that guy, I'm blanking on the name, but he was Lincoln? No, yeah, not Lincoln, but the black guy sitting next to them, in the picture next to them. I forget what that guy's name is. But anyways, it's just a whole bunch of photographs that I guess are supposed to kiss up to false victim-minded, false black history type blacks who they like segregation. Yeah, Frederick Douglass, I think, is who that is. Thank you. Nick with... oh, he said Freddie Dougie. Yeah, Frederick Douglass, MLK, who pushed the civil rights movement, which was part of the destruction of blacks. Kicked off major destruction of blacks. Actually, I think it was the destruction had already begun because they had begun to push socialism. And they had begun to push women being voting and being in charge and stuff like that since the 20s and the teens, 1920s. So the decline had already begun. The out-of-wedlock birth rate in 1965 was already at a crisis rate. And that's when MLK was active. Where did MLK stand on the crisis in the black family? I don't know. Not sure I've heard any quotes by him about that. But it was already at crisis levels. And now whites have already surpassed those crisis levels of, what was it back then? 25% out of wedlock birth rate? Now whites are at 30%. But blacks were at 25% out of wedlock birth rate at that point, meaning the fathers were not leading in the right way. And even the fathers who were married were not leading in the right way. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the boomers be so dumb on a mass scale and the millennials be so dumb on a mass scale. And now the Zoomers, there's whole masses of Zoomers who are so dumb and evil on a mass scale. Remember the Sunday service premiere, guys. But look at these beautiful pictures on Boone Hall Plantation and Gardens. I don't mean to be too harsh on them, but they do deserve a little bit of criticism for putting those disgusting pictures in there. It's really cluttering up their website. It's a disgrace, but whatever. The rest of the actual location is awesome. They have this Avenue of the Oaks, and oh my gosh, these beautiful oak trees. I wonder what happened on those oak trees. Some things great, some things maybe not so great. But you can go there to get education. So such a place as this should be supported by, even by scumbags like this guy, Ryan Reynolds. Because look at the flag. You guys didn't like my lynching reference. But look at these guys going to see the cotton fields. That's cool. They should be having field trips here and visiting the slave quarters. The slave quarters look pretty cool, to be honest. Brick places. Hearths. Hearths are those fireplaces, right? Man, so awesome. So old. That's history. That's beautiful. And now they're turning their back on America. The oak trees had yellow ribbons tied around them. When did they do that? I know they do that for the people who are off at war, right? Sick. So, Boone Hall Plantation. If you're ever in that area, take a visit. Show a little support, but be like, hey, can you guys take off those pictures of Obama? He doesn't belong there. That's not black history. That was part of blacks becoming history. As in, like, dying when they should be living, you know? So, Ryan Reynolds, a kiss up. Weak. And so that's a white man. I guess he was white. I have these pictures, well, actually it's these headlines, of another non-man, Ryan Reynolds, a non-man. How can his wife, Blake Lively, ever respect him when he's that pathetic? You know what I mean? He's unreservedly sorry that he had a wedding on a beautiful piece of history. Awesome. I got this from Deadline, which is a far-left, nasty, filthy outlet. Gabrielle Union slams Terry Crews again for his statements on her AGT, America's Got Talent battle, and Black Lives Matter, and he apologizes. And I think, according to him, this is his third time apologizing. And this came out in the beginning of August, a few days ago. But this is his tweet to Gabrielle Union. And she's the one who is married. She's 50 or something like that. I don't know, going on that age. 9 years, she's certainly at least 46. Married to Dwayne Wade, who's I think 9 years younger than her. Maybe 11. I don't know. Dwayne Wade is a very famous basketball player, was very talented. Maybe still is, but he is, what do you call it? A simp. Letting her take his son, 12, 13 years old, to be a transgender. Zion becomes Zaya. And she takes him down to homosexual pride parades, which there's nothing to be proud about with that. What, pride in your degeneracy? And then these guys turn around and judge Trump for, in the past, having bragged about about cheating. They're no better. They're sick. So this woman, who's already been married before, and he's been married before, I think he has a child or two from a previous marriage, and the woman from, the real wife, his real wife, I think he was married when he had Zion and the other, I think there's another kid, I don't think is necessarily in support of this, but she's sick, and now they have a kid. I think they have a new baby. But he's kissing up to the mainstream, very mainstream. By mainstream, I mean the ways of the world, evil, supporting homosexuality and transgender madness in his family. She's invading his family with his blessing. Because he's that weak of a person, non-man, doing that. And now she used to host this thing called America's Got Talent. She appeared on that guy who's a very talented guy who hosts these shows about, yeah, there's Dwayne Wade wearing a skirt. Sick, with his son who's trying to be, thinks he's a girl or thinks he's transgender or whatever. And she's standing next to this son, which is not her son, leading that family into hell, right? Reminds me of Will Smith's family, so-called family, right? But she's making mess everywhere. She's pushing drama, pushing this white-hating stuff. She appeared on America's Got Talent, which is a show where people sing and there are judges, and she was a judge. And then she's saying, oh, they didn't like me being a black female. They discriminated against me. It wasn't true. She just had to say it. And they had this big investigation and found it wasn't true. And Terry Crews has been for unity. He's done these weird things. Terry Crews is another famous black actor, former football player. Strong guy, physically strong, but spiritually, not there. Not there. Trying to be a Christian, I think. Trying to do what's right. Floundering about, lost in this world. But he's like kind of old, but he, not that old. But he's gone on social media talking about addiction to pornography or whatever, which is according to common wisdom, which is wise, is an overshare. He's oversharing his life, opening himself for judgment. He was a member of Faith Community Church over in Covina, California. Covina, right? Yeah. That's Joel's old church. He says to this day he's totally natural. Right on. I could believe that. He used to be well known for flexing his chi-chis, his chest, and jiggling his chest with his chest muscles. It's sick. So he's always been like a little weird, a little bit, which is kind of honestly like vain or effeminate or something. Pretty strong though. Dang. But this guy, very famous actor and whatever, he's appeared in movies, and honestly, he kind of makes a fool of himself in these movies. Talking about, I like white meat. And that was a male pretending to be a female, right? Dressed as, wasn't that a black male? I don't remember. There's a Hollywood, so degenerate. But anyways, kind of a show off, I guess you could call it. Appearing on The View like that? What the heck? That's with all those cackling hen females? Oh no. So he's like been a little bit off, but he's really a nice guy, and that is also his downfall because it's not right to be nice. And he's tweeted out recently amidst all this hatred of whites stuff. Joel's really going in. I didn't pull these pictures. Don't question me. And Joel is straight too. Anyways, guys, but it's not us showing off our bodies. That's him. But now you get a feel for kind of stuff. I mean, he made money doing that stuff. But money's not everything, right? Joel saying Nick saying he's just admiring hard work. And Gabrielle Union is a woman who's played in these nasty TV shows. I think she appeared in this movie called Bring It On about being a cheerleader. Anyways, that's way too much background about these people. Terry Crews recently came out in this tweet saying, I want to, everybody of all races who is a child of God is my brother or sister, and I just want unity. If you're about what's right, I'm with you, is basically what he's trying to say, right? Just trying to be a uniter. And his downfall is this kissing up to evil people, daughter of Satan. Here's what he tweeted a few days ago, Saturday. This will be my third public apology to Gabrielle Union. If a fourth is needed, I will continue to apologize and push for reconciliation between the world. You can't reconcile with the world. And more importantly, the culture that I grew up in. I'm sorry, it's Gabrielle U, which is the Twitter handle of Gabrielle Union. And then hashtag reconciliation. And he quote tweeted this deadline tweet article about Gabrielle Union slamming Terry Crews again for his statements on her America's Got Talent battle and Black Lives Matter. Because he noticed that Black Lives Matter, and he may not have said it this clearly, hates white people, hates cops, is pushing hatred and division. They're not about reconciling. There's a lot of these liberals who are about racial reconciliation, but they're not. They want they want whites to listen to blacks and not the other way around. But blacks are very vocal, especially these radical ones, with what they say, and they never shut up and listen to, they don't, even if they did listen, their ears are stopped up so that they can't hear. They have no comprehension of the truth. So Gabrielle Union has once again claimed, right, this was before this, that fellow America's Got Talent host Terry Crews, apparently he co-hosted this America's Got Talent, judging singers, right, failed to support her in her battles against the show and NBC, because she battled against NBC, which found no evidence of mistreatment towards her or any other black. Speaking on the Spotify podcast, Jemele Hill is unbothered. And Jemele Hill is another far-left so-called journalist. She used to be with ESPN. Nasty woman. Hates white people. Hates America. Really evil, nasty person. Jemele Hill. Jemele. Gabrielle Union was asked about Terry Crews and his recent criticisms of the Black Lives Matter movement, of which I'm not too familiar, but along those lines of, everybody who's remotely fair-minded can tell that Black Lives Matter is a hateful movement. And she's all, people hit me all day long and are like, what's happening? And the only thing I know for sure is that Terry Crews gets 3 checks, meaning paychecks, from NBC. So I don't know if being worried about job stability, so she's accusing him of she's underhandedly, low-key accusing him of being into money, right? When he's trying to be a uniter, but he's very weak about it. Which, listen, we all know that if you speak up about racism and white supremacy, you absolutely can be shown the door, Union said. I don't know if that's the motivation, but she's certainly implying it. She's pretending that, I'm not saying this, but this is what it seems like. And she says, based on his recent actions, referring to Terry Crews, do you really think that Terry Crews was an ally, was helpful, was a sounding board? I think Terry Crews is showing us who he is and what he does during times of adversity, and it's not solidarity. And solidarity is a commie phrase for solidarity with the destruction of America, which is what she's pushing. NBC's investigation concluded that Union was not the victim of discrimination, reports Deadline. She says, at the end of the day, the work I am doing to make sure that NBC is a more fair and equitable place of employment will benefit you, Terry Crews, as well, Union said. What a lying woman. So it's okay to eat your cereal and let me do my thing and get out of the way. If you're not going to help, then get out of the way. What a nasty woman, huh? Such a nasty woman, as Trump said about Hillary, rightly. If you don't feel financially comfortable or spiritually comfortable, or you flat out disagree, but at the end of the day, he will benefit from a safer, more equitable workplace, from what I stuck my neck out to do and got fired for, you know, instead of actively working against progress. He's working to reunite people, even though he's very weak about it and he's a simp and whatever, all those things. He's well-meaning and she's just a nasty woman. Crews said last month that Black Lives Matter may be changing its focus and urged people to remember that they are all children of God. He said, if you are a child of God, you are my brother and sister. I have family of every race, creed, and ideology, Crews wrote. We must ensure that Black Lives Matter doesn't morph into Black Lives Better. Because that's what it really is. It's about this fake black supremacy thing. Well, it's not even really what it is. It's actually about the destruction of blacks and Americans. Through these people who don't even take care of their own lives. They've given up on their own lives. They've resigned themselves to be these degenerate, sexually immoral people and hating and blaming and falsely naming the problems. They don't name the real problems. So he's apologizing to somebody who's outright nasty and evil. For what? For saying that NBC treated him fine? What an evil person, that woman, Gabrielle Union. But, you know, it's Men's History Month, and he's not fighting in a manly way. He is apologizing. Weak. And I like, you know, Terry Crews, such a likable person, kind of. He comes off as trying to be sincere, but he's working in an evil world, and he's weak himself. Such a shame. Before I get to this Jackie Lacey thing, I got to get to some more calls. Real quick, let me read a few of these things. Mo Betta Stand Up says, Diamond for a better Joel Mix outro to Hake Show. I don't know. I like when people are just work off of, I don't know, whatever. You and Joel worked that out, Mo Betta, but I appreciate the support. Thank you, man. I don't mind reading these super chats. He says, SoCal training accident. Good news is 7 lived. He says, rest in peace to 9 servicemen, 8 Marines, and 1 Navy medic who rode their amphibian vehicle too deep. Yeah, you know, President Trump tweeted about this too. There was some type of accident off the coast. I think off the coast of California, but I'm not positive. And some died. What a shame. And it was an accident. I knew a guy in my class who died in an accident overseas. I'm blanking on his name, but he was in the military, and I think he got run over or something. Some freak, and it was just an accident. It wasn't a roadside bomb or anything like that. Mo Betta Stand Up says, Hake is spot on. Diamond to Captain USA. You know, Antifa likes that guy. They pretend to anyways. They're evil. Mo Betta Stand Up says, answer question buddy. You got faith in New Testament? I don't know if that's a reference to that guy who called in talking about the Bible. Or maybe he's talking to somebody named Buddy. He said, or Buddy, are you just here to steer the chat? Apparently there's some drama going on in the DLive chat. Get in there if those of you who guys like drama. Or somebody who wants to clean up. Loud127 said, Jamel said Trump voters are racist. Yeah, that's right. And he says, her mom voted. Her mom voted for Trump? Yeah, she tweeted out, all Trump supporters are racist. There's no getting around it. I think she tweeted that recently. I could be wrong. It may have been last year, but I've seen the tweet very recently. And somebody's all, yeah, that's a way to win people on to your side. That's good. But she's so nasty that she doesn't have any sense to be persuasive. Anyways, I got to get to some calls. Appreciate the support, guys. You know, I'm demonetized on YouTube. I can't even accept your super chats. YouTube and Google don't even want your money to support them and me because YouTube takes 30%. But you can support on DLive, which many of you guys are. Appreciate that. And a lot of you guys are supporting on Patreon. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm also on Subscribestar, which is an alternative to Patreon. You know, Patreon is under attack for being far-left liberals. They banned the Bears from supporting, what's that guy's name? The Big Bear. You guys know who I'm talking about. Owen Benjamin. For being edgy and telling the truth. Sick people. But you can also support on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report, another alternative for giving super chats. Thank you to Hot Computer Smell, Jib Jab, King Alpha Nerd, and all of you guys who support their Agent Black, Aztec. By the way, is there a crypto report tonight? White Wednesday? Usually it happens around 6 p.m. our time, 4 p.m. for church, 4 p.m. my time, right? For church with Jesse Lee Peterson. Reprise, right? A Sunday service reprise from 2009. Gonna be a good one as long as I can get it all ready and together for you guys. Let me quickly get to Tony in California. He has a question for me, or a comment for me. Tony, how are you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Hank?
I'm doing fine. It's nice to hear from you.
All right. Yeah, I was calling about that plantation that you was glorifying, that you was so enthused and so amazed about. I mean, it's no different than the plantation in Mississippi, which name was the Devil's Pitch Bowl. And the Devil's Pitch Bowl was a concentration camp for blacks.
The Devil's Pitchfork?
The Devil's Pitch Bowl.
Pitch bow?
Yeah, Pitch Bowl. And then
don't say that. You can't say that. The Devil's bowl that he peed in?
No.
Pitch bowl.
Yeah.
Pitch bowl. So he put pitch inside of it. And pitch, what is pitch?
It's called Pitch Bowl.
Okay, all right. Whatever.
Camp for blacks.
Whatever you say, I don't know anything about it, but it's a beautiful plantation, and it's a beautiful history, and we have nothing to. And hold on, T.
It's a death camp. It's
No.
a rape camp.
No.
It's abuse camp. It's harassment camp.
No.
I mean,
Not true.
It got plenty of blood on that plantation.
Huh?
It got plenty of blood been laid out there on that plantation. Plenty of people done died on that plantation.
Of course, people died on that plantation. People die in their house.
Murder.
People die on their homes
I ain't talking about
all the time.
I'm talking about murder. I'm talking about
Murders? Come on.
Yes.
Why would people murder their slaves? They want workers. They don't want to murder the slaves.
Why would they murder slaves? Why did they murder black people in the day?
You know what? You're just making stuff up. You're just pushing. Hold on, Tony.
Please.
Yes, you're making stuff up. Hold on, Tony.
Can y'all get okay?
Tony, you should be grateful for slavery. That's why you get to be in America.
You're the biggest joke than Jesse Lee Peterson.
No? Well, I mean, that might be true. It's not hard to be a bigger joke than Jesse Lee Peterson because Jesse Lee Peterson tells the truth.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, so anyways, you should be grateful. Are you grateful to be in America?
I'm grateful to be alive. How about that? I'm grateful to be alive.
That's not what I asked you.
I'm grateful for being black. I'm grateful for being the human being that God made me. Okay?
What do you know about God if you're not grateful to be in America?
See, there you go. Put it all in a glass bubble. And if you
it's not a glass bubble to be in America. It's beautiful.
No, okay. See, America means white, and I'm not white, so I can't put myself in that category.
I didn't say that you're white. You're inside of America.
Yeah, no. I'm inside North. I'm inside the United States.
That's America, dude. What the heck?
No. That's your America, not mine. See,
Okay, so you don't live in reality, huh?
I ain't got nothing to be patriot about.
You don't live in reality. You listen to the communists.
I got a lot to be happy about for the success I came.
You listen, Tony. You're telling me that you listen to the communist ingrates who want to destroy America.
There you go, throwing names out there with it.
That's the truth. It's the truth. You called names on this beautiful plantation and accused it of being a concentration death camp.
I gave it history.
No, that's not history.
Yes,
You did not give one lick of history. You gave propaganda.
A plantation ended up a murdering camp, a rape camp.
No.
And
Lies.
Nothing but division.
No. You don't. You know what rape camps and murder camps are? That's the ghettos today that.
Plantation.
No.
Plantation.
No, it's the ghettos that blacks live in today. Murder camps and rape camps.
No, well,
Sponsored by the government. Sponsored by the government that you support. Sponsored by the liberal Democrat government that you support. That's reality.
Yeah, but the laws from the Republicans.
No. Hold on, Tony. That's present day reality.
Oh, no. I can give you some reality if you got 2 minutes.
You don't know any reality. You don't even know that you're in America.
I can give you some real, truth reality if you
No.
got 2 minutes, brother.
You're being
But
silly.
Y'all don't want me to tell that one.
Oh, Tony, you're the same guy who called into the Lee Peterson show and lied. Joe Maddock gave me.
Lied about what? What?
Joe Maddock.
Sean Hannity supporting y'all.
Yeah, exactly.
Sean Hannity was y'all top supporter.
No, that's not true. You don't know what you're talking about. Just lying. This is the time. Hold on, Tony.
Organization that y'all giving out government funds.
Tony, I put him on hold. This is the same type of guy who is like the same type of people who write for the liberal media. And you know, some of them may be a little bit more trained in being, let's make sure that we're factual, right? But they cherry pick facts and then make stuff up that they can't get in trouble for making stuff up and say, according to anonymous sources. And then they just can say, I'm not going to reveal my anonymous source. You think they don't lie? Of course they lie. And they lie about racism being real and when they know better or should know better. And some of these people have they're blind. They're blind. Either they're blind or they are outright liars. So, Brandon M. gave a diamond and said, Tony flooding California with his phone spitting. Yeah, you have a nasty phone. And Joe Maddock gave a diamond and said, Tony from California is a known liar. That's right, Tony. You're a liar. What the heck? And you're a male. So this is Men's History Month. And Tony is an example of how far men have fallen. What the heck? Tony.
Yes, the Hake Report. Yes, how can I help you?
You want to apologize for lying?
Sir, I don't lie. I just give out the truth. I let you deal with it. So you were telling me that Sean Hannity don't have nothing to do with your organization.
Correct.
You will sit on your report, on your TV, on your radio show, and say Sean Hannity has nothing to do with your organization.
Correct, because first of all, hold on, Tony.
That's a white lie.
No, this is a false dilemma. Is either he pays you to say this, or he has nothing to do with it. That's a false dilemma. He did at one point serve on the board. I don't know, but
I'm sure he served on your on
Tony
Lee Peterson board. Huh?
Shut up. Yeah, Tony.
I know y'all hate the truth.
Mr. You don't know the truth, Tony. You're repeating Howard Zinn propaganda against America, which is actually against. You hate black people, honestly. You do hate black people. You're a phony. Because you're pushing false victimhood of the distant past when you can't.
Y'all the spin factor. You love the spin thing. You just spin like Bill O'Reilly.
No. All right. How old are you, Tony?
I'm 59, my friend. 59.
Wow. Isn't that a shame?
I got a new song for
And he's
you.
so
I got
immature.
A new song for y'all.
And he's very immature. Have you noticed that he's just
Okay.
immature? It's like everything is a joke to him.
That's your opinion. That's
He
your
doesn't
opinion, 'cause
mind.
you don't wanna
He
hear
doesn't
the
mind
truth.
lying and calling it the truth. And then he laughs. Wow.
Now,
Tell me the song later. I gotta run, man. You can call back
Have a
tomorrow
good
with the
day.
song. You too. Take care.
have a good day.
All right. I think he might be a trucker. Most truckers, at least the ones who listen to the Jesse Lee Peterson show and the Hake Report, they're really sensible people. And a lot of you guys over the years have been calling in. Appreciate that. But not this one. Tony Phony Baloney. Need some Christopher Columbus roast beef. Bible Go-To Guy is in Los Angeles. Been on hold for some time. Bible Go-To Guy, thank you for holding. What's up?
Pop. It doesn't even seem like I've been on hold a long time. James.
Yes.
Whoa. I would like to comment on your last caller. Just a second here.
Okay.
It seems like too many black folks have a PhD in grievance, a PhD in grievance, and yet you're not going to see this last caller go into the inner neighborhoods and stop all the black on black crime. You're not going to see that.
Right.
They're just gonna go home, get on the internet, or listen to whoever they listen to, and enhance their PhD in white oppression, and do nothing about what's actually happening currently. And all they're pushing for when he throws out all this guilt tripping, they just want free. They just want free money from the whites. They just want reparations. They can smell the blood in the water.
Yeah.
American companies are giving it up by the millions, and so they're just pushing for the trillions now. They're going past the millions and billions. They're pushing for the trillions like that. Well, like that silly BET founder Johnson, I think it was his name.
Isn't that a shame? He's kind of stood for sanity every now and then, but he founded BET. That tells you kind of I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, and he just wants to be in charge of distributing all that reparations money. So he's putting it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I called for is guys like this, these black folks, and these Antifa folks. They're turning on the left also. The chickens are coming home to roost. You can see that happening everywhere. And I think, now that's going to do one of two things. That's either going to make a lot of, kind of people, the people who aren't really into politics that much. It's either going to make them, out of intimidation, vote for them, or out of fear, vote for Trump and Republicans. But there's going to be a landslide one way or another.
Interesting.
Because these guys are pushing an extreme thing, and they're going to get an extreme reaction. That's the only reason why I'm predicting a landslide, because there's so much extreme going on. And so the people are either going to go one way. You know how when animals are scared, they'll go in any direction.
Yeah.
And start running. And that's maybe what the voters will do. They'll just take off.
Yeah, we definitely.
And so I really don't know which way they're going to vote out of their fear.
Yeah, I'm thinking that this is helping Trump because he is like an island of sanity around this sea of insanity and evil. And because he's so real, people are seeing through the phony mainstream media. They're starting to realize that they're liars, they're destructive people, they're fakes, hoity-toity people. And they're seeing through the Democrats being all nasty and kissing up and not even condemning Antifa and embracing Black Lives Matter. And Black Lives Matter, but I'll tell you what, these people don't stop, these evil people, and they want these lesser evil people, more like respectable evil people, to be overthrown and replaced with more radical evil people. And they're not going to stop. The nice thing is, though, that there are people waking up and being that solid, unmovable type of man, where
That's what we need.
where it stands in a contrast and it brings out the worst, the demons in them, and they just unmask, and that helps wake more people up to their evil and to realize that those people are evil and not to be aligned with whatsoever. And so, like Jesse Lee Peterson, when he did that interview on that Chinese program, like that guy is so evil that Christopher Han is so evil that he couldn't stand Jesse Lee Peterson just bringing the unvarnished, plain truth and big picture reality. But Jesse's not led by spouting off facts at people and trying to get people mad, but he's just telling the truth, and people just happen to get mad and unmask, and you never know which person is going to get that Trump derangement syndrome or truth derangement syndrome. They hate the truth so bad they get so deranged about it. But that guy went off the deep end. And same thing with how Trump has unmasked so many people to be really nasty people. Don Lemon and Kathy Griffin and so many other people some of them have died, some of them have lost their careers. Megyn Kelly. And some of them just exposed themselves as nasty people. And that has awakened a lot of people. So that's encouraging.
So. I really do.
Yeah, I think we all have to live our own lives and wake up, and then we can fight in the right way.
Very true. Very true. Well said, James.
Appreciate that, Bible Go-To guy. Great call.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Take care. Jesse Lee Peterson. Almost said Jesse Lee Peterson was interviewed. President Trump was interviewed by this guy named Jonathan Swann, and all the liberals are pretending like, oh, Jonathan Swann did this great interview. But he's an intellectual. He's like a Brit. He sounds like he has this British accent, this Jonathan Swann, mainstream media guy. He's talking about compared to the greater population, a larger percentage of Americans have died than, say, in South Korea, right? And Trump is bringing up, well, we don't know what the real numbers are from South Korea. Not that there would lie necessarily, but we also don't know what the real numbers are of America, because they're naming all kinds of things as COVID deaths to get money, to try to make Trump look bad, as if Trump is responsible for the coronavirus. It's China, and it's the Democrats, and it's the globalists who have brought this globalist society, and it's the people, the Democrat-run cities that are overcrowded and not clean. And, it's New York, L.A., and other places that are just dirty cities. And they don't care about what's right. They don't protect our health. And Trump didn't mention this, but I don't believe these death numbers about the COVID thing. I do believe that it is a pretty crazy disease, because I've heard of people getting some crazy sicknesses. But you have to consider, we have an aging population in America. We are, especially on the white side, disproportionately old folks. The boomers are a big part of, and older people are a big part of the population. And then you have a bunch of younger, more immigrant people that are making a bunch of babies. But Americans in general are making fewer babies across all races. We're opening the treasure chest on DLive. And the liberals, the leftists who hate, wow, so many super chats. Appreciate that, guys. They are gleeful that old people are dying. I suspect, although I don't know, that they are happy that these old folks are dying, because these old folks are more sensible people. But, they're towards the tail end of their lives. They didn't necessarily live in such a way as to live forever, like Jesse Lee Peterson is. And so they're susceptible to these things, and they get killed off. They get They get COVID patients put in their old folks' homes and nursing homes, and so many of them have died. Something like 40% of the deaths are old folks' homes. Something along those lines, according to what I've heard, and I don't know for sure. But I think that they're gleeful that the old people are dying off, because those are Trump voters who are dying off. It's really sick. And this guy, Jonathan Swann, he's talking about, I'm talking about lives. And compared to the cases that we've had, it's actually a very low death rate compared to the cases that we have. And we've come up with all sorts of tests and stuff. And supposedly Trump struggled to explain the coronavirus charts and statistics, but he's thinking on the fly. And this Jonathan Swann guy is an intellectual trying to catch him and pretend like America is failing and it's his fault and stuff like that. Nuh-uh. He's handling it right. They wouldn't know what to do. It would be worse under a Democrat. And, but they wouldn't report it. They would try to make the Democrat look good. They would cast it in totally different ways. And, so Trump handled it very well. And he was asked about the legacy. This guy talking about he cares about lives. I wonder what this guy cares about with abortion, let's say. Or Black Lives Matter, increasing the deaths of blacks in black communities because the cops are hamstrung in many different ways and undermined in many different ways, which leaves the blacks to kill each other. He doesn't care about lives. I don't believe that this man cares about lives. He seems like a phony to me, especially when compared with Trump. But, all these liberal reporters talking about, and then some rhinos too, talking about, oh, this person is such a competent live reporter. Trump was asked by him about the legacy of John Lewis, and his answer was awesome. He's like, I don't know, is he an impressive person? And he's all, I don't know, I didn't know him. He didn't come to my inauguration. He didn't come to my State of the Union addresses. I don't know him. I don't know if he was an impressive person. I've known impressive people, and I've known not very impressive people. And he was asked about renaming the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Edmund Pettus was apparently a great man. I don't know much about him, but he was, supportive of slavery or whatever, maybe a Grand Master of the KKK. It was totally different times. It was the equivalent of Black Lives Matter, except for whites, I guess. I don't know. Don't know much about the history of the KKK. Not too into it. It's not present day reality. I'd rather know what's evil today, right? Better to know yourself. If these people can't interpret the present times, what are they going to do? How do you trust what they're talking about with John Lewis? Not an honorable man. Trump was way more honorable than him. So right on, President Trump not kissing up. That's cool. So encouraging to have a man like that in office. So don't throw the country away. Anyways, I got to end. This has been the Hake Report, thehakereport.com. I am James Hake. Also catch Jesse Lee Peterson, The Jesse Lee Peterson Show. All right? JesseLeePeterson.com/show. And Bond Rebuilding the Man YouTube channel for the Sunday service premiere. Today at 4, as long as I can get it done. So stand by. Okay, guys, take care.